Yeah, Bob's down.
Yeah, Bob's on.
It is nice to see.
Isn't it? Even
I've
though,
been in my house for 3 days or whatever all week.
I don't know, I came out for this. Be back in the house. It is.
I can at least do this. Really.
Yeah, just. Good afternoon, everyone. I want you to just take notice that I still have my mask on right now, just so we all know. We are going to get started in just a second. We're waiting for just a few more people to arrive, so please see that we're really excited for this wonderful announcement today. Very thankful that you all are joining us and looking forward to sharing with you all of the wonderful information that we have for you today. So we'll get started here in just a little bit. So feel free to relax and get to know each other about 6 feet apart.
You run on time here. That's good. That says a lot about the institution too. When everybody got it together. Usually these things, they say 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like 1:15.
I'm going to tell you.
So my wife was at United by at the colonies. Yeah, okay. Usually at least the main stick.
It was not good. So,
Yeah, we're pretty.
That's
I
first
mean,
when
when I
now
walked
she's
in,
actually
that
it was
yeah.
yeah. Our meetings start on time. Usually end on time.
you know, what I said to the folks is that, it's a matter of respect. It's
Yeah.
respecting other people's time. So, it ended up getting fixed pretty quickly. But, there's Robin.
Well, certainly not now, but it was. Okay. It was finally what pushed me out of the years. I just didn't have to travel anymore with the kids and that kind of stuff. I was tired of missing what was happening.
You look fabulous, Miss Robin. Oh, thank you. Just do this.
I was.
Thank you for being here.
You came in, you just stole the show. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is he's going to change out the mic and sanitizer.
Fine. Okay, so in between.
Yeah, so we'll have that. So I'll probably take my mask off.
Yeah. So when I was at the White House, I was sitting next to Deborah Birx. You guys see her on TV. And we were at the big, it was the White House Education Roundtable. The president did, and our AACC president couldn't be there. Walter called me and said, "Would you do it?" And I'm like, "Sure." And Mike was running it, and the vice president. Oh, there she is. So anyway, I was sitting around there. I said, "Do you want us to wear a mask?" We all had to be COVID tested.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want us to wear a mask? And she said, "I'll let you decide. I'll follow you."
So you have to sit there.
So hello, Teresa. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Let's see if we can take their photos. One of them. There, we both, and Robin's too. If we, they're laying over by. I think mine's over by the there.
Again, good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you or welcome you back to Martin University. We are thrilled to have you here today for this wonderful announcement. We will be practicing very safe health protocols, as we know that we are unfortunately continuing to deal with COVID-19 and the coronavirus. And so as each speaker leaves the podium, then it will be sanitized. We're going to switch the mics out every time to make sure that we are all safe and healthy, and that we do our part to ensure that we make the curve go down and ultimately away. So again, thank you all for attending. We're really excited today to announce a very unique and comprehensive partnership between Martin University and Ivy Tech Community College. This is truly we see it as a mutually beneficial partnership between two very important institutions of higher education here in Indiana that will certainly benefit all Hoosiers, but have a very specific focus on ensuring that we are allowing for and creating opportunities, access, and acquisition of higher education and career development for our students. We want to ensure that we are making our way to have good employees and employers who are able to enter the workforce and sustain very rewarding careers here in our state. Martin University has always maintained that this is important. Since the founding of our institution, we have been focused on helping to change the lives, the trajectories, and the pathways for low-income, minority, and adult students in our area to ensure that they too can thrive and succeed just like everyone else. Martin has to address these things as Indiana's only predominantly Black institution. We believe that the opportunity for everyone to have access and equitable outcomes both in college and in the workforce are critically important for our university. Our new Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion, along with our Martin Works program, will be ways for us to be able to enable those things to occur. The Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion will launch in mid-January. That center will be focused on ensuring that employers in our area have the ability to develop sustainable practices as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So as they're expanding and diversifying their workforces, there's an opportunity for everyone to have a trajectory as it relates to their careers. We also want to make sure that we are helping to build coalitions and construct activism so that we can address some of the more persistent barriers that have existed that create inequities and injustice around race in our community. We all know that African Americans rise to the top of some of the worst statistics and the bottom of some of the best statistics as it relates to trajectory here in Indiana and Marion County. We aim to find ways to eradicate that as much as possible. And so we believe that this partnership is one way to do that. And certainly the work that we'll do through our center, jointly do through our Center of Racial Equity and Inclusion will help. In addition to that, Martin University is also launching a new initiative that will transform our university to become an urban work college. We're calling it our Martin Works program, and it will stand on 3 pillars. One is academics, the second is workforce development, and the third is community engagement. We believe that it would be a great opportunity for Ivy Tech students who transfer to Martin University and all students that graduate from Martin University to walk across the stage with a degree, a job offer, or the ability to start a business, and maybe even the keys to their own home. So we are very excited about those opportunities, and we believe this partnership will continue to reinforce that. And we'll do it through a couple of very intentional and focused programs that we're going to be excited to announce today. One will be a cyber entrepreneurship program to help to diversify the tech industry, but also just bring to the forefront more tech professionals in an extremely growing area of career development and service to our communities. We also want to make sure that we're helping to bring more teachers, and that will be a joint program that we'll have together that will help to diversify the number of teachers, but also expand the teachers that we have in our area. So we will share much more information about other aspects of our partnership today. And with that, I am delighted to introduce my friend and partner, Dr. Sue Elsterman from Ivy Tech Community College. Thank you.
I'm not as tall as you. Thank you. It is wonderful to be here, Dr. Huddleston. This has truly been a journey for us together with our institutions, and I can't tell you how proud we are of our teams and the enormous opportunity we have before us. This partnership gives Ivy Tech a unique opportunity to better attract and support our students of color for success not only at Ivy Tech, but for success in completing their bachelor's degree from a truly exceptional higher ed institution and launching them into high wage, high demand careers in Indianapolis and beyond. Dr. Huddleston and I believe that together and alongside our employer community and our community partners, we can make a much bigger impact on racial equality and inclusion in Indianapolis and our entire state. Ivy Tech has been focused on our equity gaps and ensuring that our students of color are entering those high wage, high demand fields. And there is truly no bigger gap than in IT, where we know there are great jobs, great careers, many times in those 6 digits. And that's our focus. We very intentionally picked this cyber entrepreneurship program built on a backbone at Ivy Tech of a cyber security program associate's degree that we've already had in place, one of the very few in the nation that is NSA certified. And I have to tell you that our Valparaiso campus just in October, our students placed 2nd in the nation in a US, it's a cyber security Super Bowl, if you will. And oh, by the way, guess who was the team captain? Denisha, you're gonna love this, African-American female. Yes, I mean, all the things that we know we want to do around attracting talent to those best careers that are out there. So we couldn't be more excited than to be part of this cyber entrepreneurship program. Martin's new Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion is something we know at Ivy Tech we will benefit from a lot, and we thank you for your partnership. There's already planning underway for workshops, programs, initiatives, all in support of our faculty and staff to make us a better and stronger institution. You're going to hear more elements of this partnership as we go throughout time, but let me just say that we believe this partnership will help students succeed in their educational goals and assist employers in hiring a more diverse and inclusive workforce. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the next 2 speakers, both commissioners, Commissioner Teresa Lubbers and Commissioner Fred Payne. Commissioner Lubbers has led the Commission for Higher Education for over a decade and currently chairs the Governor's Workforce Cabinet, which is our state's workforce investment board. She has led the state's adoption of the big goal that 60% of our workforce having a quality post-secondary degree or credential by 2025, and the elimination of equity gaps in education. Commissioner Payne has led Indiana's Department of Workforce Development since 2017. Commissioner Payne and the DWD team has been just a little busy with this COVID time, managing the state's unemployment insurance fund and workforce programs. Recently, Ivy Tech was honored to partner with DWD, where we were able to bring 2,700 unemployed and COVID-impacted Hoosiers into short-term programs that will lead them to a better career as they complete. So, honored to have you both join us today and share a few words. So, with no further ado, besides the mic change, I'll introduce Commissioner Teresa Lubbers.
I'll move it down even farther. Thank you. It's my delight to be here on behalf of the Indiana Commission for Higher Education, and I want to give my thanks to both Dr. Ellspermann and Huddleston for the extraordinary work they've been doing to bring this partnership together. of getting greater collaboration between our institutions of higher education, all focused on the success of Hoosier students. And we know that sometimes they have different missions, but there's a way in which they can align this work. And I think this is just a great example of that and should inspire a lot of our other higher education institutions to work together as well. Our efforts at the state have really been focused on aligning everything from early childhood education to lifelong learning with really soft transitions in between. And the Governor's Workforce Cabinet, where Fred and I have the opportunity to serve, has been very focused on that in concert with our institutions of higher education. But we must do that work with a lens on equity and inclusion as well, to make sure that we are not leaving people behind. We just issued our third equity report at the Commission for Higher Education, and not surprisingly, it exposed, again, many of those disparities that exist, from college going rates. We do have some exceptions to that. Minority students who are participating in the 21st Century Scholars Program are going to college at a higher rate than our population at large. So make sure everybody you know is signing up for that program as well. But what also showed in that report, two areas that I think are especially pertinent to our discussion today, and that is the disparity in STEM fields and the disparity in teacher preparation to make sure that more students have, at some point in their career, a teacher of color in the classroom. This partnership that we're announcing today speaks directly to both of those issues in a very important way to look at, as Sue has indicated, these areas of IT where we know individuals who graduate with these IT degrees or credentials have the opportunity to get a good job, a high-paying job, with the opportunity for economic mobility and advancement throughout their career as well. And we have been working very intentionally to make sure that we look at the teaching corps in Indiana. And we know that it does not represent the population at large, and that it is highly likely, under many circumstances, that students will never have a teacher of color from early childhood education until the time they graduate. We need all of you to help us in this regard. It's not easy. We have good scholarship programs that address it, but we need to make sure that those of you who are in communities are helping us to encourage people to enter into the field of education. Finally, I'd just like to mention the work that this will do in terms of making sure that we have teachers of color prepared to teach dual credit courses as well. We have requirements that we have to meet, and we need to have all of us working together, and I know that this partnership, again, between Ivy Tech and Martin is going to help us to do that. So again, I'm just incredibly excited about the announcement today. I think it offers great promise for us to meet really important needs and address these issues of racial disparities that exist in our community. And now it's my pleasure to introduce my partner in much of this work, the Commissioner for Workforce Development, Fred Payne.
Thank you, Commissioner Lubbers. Thank you, Dr. Huddleston and Dr. Ellspermann, for your vision. I looked at, before I came here, I looked to see the number of job openings that we have across the state of Indiana. We have over 120,000 jobs open in the state of Indiana as of today, 25,000 of which are in Marion County. Now let's take this back to 2019. In 2019, we saw the highest monthly average number of people employed in Indiana. The average monthly unemployment rate was about 3.3%. Essentially, most people who were looking for a job had a job. But we know that beginning in March of this year, things started to change a little bit because of COVID. We saw unemployment rates go to extreme heights. We saw the needs of employers and people change. While we're currently moving in the right direction with our unemployment rate, which now sits at 5%, we've walked all the way down from 17%. We see that there's no greater time and no greater need for partnerships than now. The partnership between Martin University and Ivy Tech, this strong partnership is a collaborative resource for our community that bridges opportunity and access. Those things are the cornerstones to effective workforce engagement that will help close the gap to fill those 120,000 open jobs. It will also help to foster a more inclusive workforce. Education and training are not single, once-in-a-lifetime events. They're lifelong, as Commissioner Lovers mentioned earlier. Working with employers, we see the continuous evolution of needs, of the needed skills as the technology, landscape, and outlook of employment changes, especially over the last 8 months. Equipping Hoosiers to compete in this environment for high-wage, high-demand jobs is extremely important. The partnership between Martin University's Work College and Ivy Tech's Career Coaching and Employer Connections will not only allow students to move seamlessly through the various levels of education and training while providing employers with the skilled and educated workforce that they need for both today and tomorrow. It'll also provide a foundation for Hoosiers to have a rewarding career and a good quality of life. The vision of intentional collaboration between Drs. Ellspermann and Dr. Huddleston allows Martin's new cyber entrepreneurship program to be a part of Ivy Tech's NSA certified cybersecurity associate degree. This will result in a highly skilled workforce and innovative professionals of color to help fill high-wage, high-demand jobs. Now, engagement with employers is critical. So as you evaluate your employment needs and your workforce needs, I encourage Hoosier employers to engage and learn more about the partnership and how it can help fill the talent needs that you have. So I'm excited about the opportunities of this partnership. This collaboration will not only allow the state to reach its goals of a more equipped, educated, and diverse workforce, it'll also help employers to fill their talent needs and to also reach some of their more inclusive goals. So thank you both for your vision and your commitment to educating, training, and moving Hoosiers to high-wage, high-demand careers and making our state's labor force of 3.4 million more inclusive, more competitive, as we strive to move our way back to a record number of individuals being employed in our state and filling those 120,000 jobs. Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Payne, Commissioner Lovers. After hearing your speeches, I've come to realize that I need to brush up on my speech writing skills because kind of killed it. Those are excellent. It is my pleasure to introduce our next four speakers to the microphone. First, we will have Representative Robin Shackelford, who's also the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Indiana. We will have Dr. David Hampton, Deputy Mayor for Indianapolis. We'll have Bob Osley, who's president of the City County Council, and Dr. David Wantz, who's president of the Independent Colleges of Indiana. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For years, Martin University and Ivy Tech Community College has served as a beacon in education for non-traditional students. They have created opportunities and pathways to careers that many institutions still struggle to create today. As leaders on the forefront of non-traditional education, we salute their work in higher education. Individually, both institutions boast impressive results that have improved the lives of students. Collectively, the areas of focus from their partnership will change the lives of generations to come. I am incredibly enthused about their areas of focus because, for one, many universities have less issues with recruiting back students, but the retainment and graduation rate of our students are abysmal. That is why it is so integral that they are working to increase actual degree attainment for African American students by creating a pathway for more to transfer from Ivy Tech to Martin University. Two, we know there is a need for more African Americans in STEM-related fields, which is why I was elated at the collaboration between the two institutions that would allow a cybersecurity certification. I am hopeful that this part of the partnership will fortify our students for the world of tomorrow, one filled with technology beyond our wildest dreams. Three, in the past, our community has struggled to efficiently link high school and higher education. You could imagine my joy when I learned of the master's program that will enable teaching dual enrollment courses at high schools. We know that dual enrollment prepares students for college more than AP classes, and we need these programs to support our students and teachers who care about long-term education goals. And finally, in a day and age where it is abundantly clear that things need to change, the call and yearn for institutions to practice diversity, equity, and inclusion is omnipresent. That is why I am most proud of the initiative that both institutions are taking to provide not just cultural competency training, but also working on teaching and student support practices. In order for a student to be successful from kindergarten to higher education, they must feel supported, understood, and trusted to succeed. I am sure that this area of focus can do just that. I have no doubt the success that will come from this partnership will create ripples in higher education, extending beyond our community and into the world. There are many institutions of higher education that will see their shining example and use it as a template for non-traditional and marginalized students, where they too will create opportunities and lead in their communities. Thank you to Martin University and Ivy Tech for leading with purpose and partnership. God bless and much love.
Thank you very much. It's certainly my honor to represent Mayor Hogsett and the city of Indianapolis to Dr. Huddleston, Dr. Ellspermann. What an incredible visionary partnership that simplifies the initiatives of Mayor Hogsett, which is to bring agencies out of their silos. We talk about that all the time, and moving into partnerships, which is really the power of enabling success of any program. And so thank you to Martin University, thank you to Ivy Tech for this great visionary partnership, which will really, we love the term high tides rise all ships, right? And so as we attend to true diversity, equity, and inclusion, one of the things that we face in this city, one statistic says that by 2020, which is now, 62% of all of the jobs in Indiana, and Commissioner Payne, you probably know this better than anybody, 62% of all of the jobs in Indiana will require some form of post-secondary education or higher. In Marion County, only 42% of residents possess those credentials. So we know we have some work to do. We know we have some gaps to close, and there's no greater way in which to do that than education in a tangible way. I love that there are many programs of diversity and equity arising all around this nation and city and state, but Ivy Tech and Martin University are doing that in a very tangible way and not just in the checkbox. Because if we're really going to if high tides are really going to rise all ships, we have to do that with economic empowerment. And certainly employment leads to economic empowerment. And in much of my work and many of the meetings I've gone to, I've probably spent an equal amount of time at both Ivy Tech and Martin University on behalf of the city of Indianapolis. I can count many times where I've gone to Ivy Tech, who has partnered with the city through our Indy Achieves program to help young high school students find ways to go to college. And we're trying to help them do that free. Again, economic empowerment. I've also been at Martin University, who has partnered with the city, especially through the Women and Minority Business Development Office. We held a reverse trade show here in which minority businesses gathered in this very space, and corporations were here in a reverse way to offer them partnership opportunities, investment opportunities, again, economic empowerment. So if you forget everything I say, I just want you to remember one thing: economic empowerment is really the key to rising all of us, residents of Marion County, and especially those young people who seek a higher education, which will lead to greater employment. That's going to rise all of our ships, because it's going to help not only the economy of Indianapolis, but it's going to help the individual economies of individuals who can realize success with education. So thank you so much, Ivy Tech. Thank you so much, Martin University. I can't wait to see how this program is going to help the city of Indianapolis. God bless you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My thanks to Drs. Huddleston and Elsperman for this amazing partnership and the vision behind it. It is my privilege to join this group today, not just to announce, but to celebrate this new collaboration between Martin University and Ivy Tech. It's little wonder to me that these two institutions have developed what I think will prove to be a powerful partnership, because they are in many ways organized around the same bedrock principle: that education equals opportunity, of which everyone is equally deserving, but to which everyone does not have equal or equitable access. For decades now, both of these institutions have sought and fought to extend that opportunity to those who need them most. As early as 1848, a recognized father of our public education system, Horace Mann, wrote that education, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the conditions of men, the balance wheel of the social machinery. That sentiment rings true, just as true today as it did when it was first put to paper. As Indianapolis and communities across the nation begin to grapple anew with the legacy of slavery in the form of institutional and systemic racism, there may be no more powerful tool within our grasp as we work to build a truly equitable society. That's why this partnership between Martin University and Ivy Tech has the potential to affect such powerful and positive outcomes for our community. At the same moment that these two institutions, each long dedicated to creating educational opportunity for marginalized students, are joining forces to create a more diverse and highly skilled workforce, employers all across the region and beyond are recognizing not just an economic imperative, but a moral one. to significantly refocus their recruiting and hiring practices to attract a richly diverse workforce. And through this partnership, Martin University and Ivy Tech will be uniquely positioned to supply precisely the workers those companies and this community need. I reference our community because I believe the students who will matriculate from these programs are vital, not just to our local economy, but to our local democracy. Did you know at previous points in our history, and to some extent even today, community colleges like Ivy Tech are known as democracies colleges? The graduates Martin University and Ivy Tech produce comprise an educated citizenry, critical to the effective functioning of a democracy. And part of my purpose in joining you today is to speak on behalf of a democracy that needs those students and graduates. It needs their skills and expertise, their vision, and their vigor. So for all of the council's efforts to positively impact equity in our community, we have our own internal work to do. Over the past year, we've begun examining our own appointments to civic boards and commissions through the same equity lens we advocate others to use. We've likewise become much more intentional about recruiting and seating individuals of diverse backgrounds, Black and brown people who may not have had the opportunity to lead before, to develop their own skills and capacities as leaders, and to pass those capacities on to the next generation. So while I'm happy to celebrate the development of a pipeline between Ivy Tech and Martin University, let me be clear that my hope is that that pipeline is for that pipeline to extend right up to our civic boards, our commissions, the council, local government. 170 years after Horace Mann expressed his notion of education and the great equalizer, President Obama's Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, wrote, "Americans have a choice to make, whether we will allow education to be a wedge that widens inequality, or whether we will use its power, as Horace Mann envisioned it, to create opportunity for all." Today, Martin University and Ivy Tech have made clear their choice to stand on the side of opportunity for all, and I am proud to stand with them. Thank you.
I think he needs a hand. 3 years ago, at a breakfast downtown, Dr. Ellspermann leaned over to me and said, "I've got an idea. Why can't students going to independent colleges take classes at Ivy Tech, and as they go through to get their degrees done, earn a certificate along the way?" What a great idea. That conversation led to a confabulation, a convention, where 20 colleges from Ivy Tech all across the state and 20 campuses from independent colleges and campuses from Ivy Tech came together. They work in the same counties. They have offices in the same cities, but they may not have known each other. And so the purpose was to get them to know one another, just to create the relationships. And we had some one-off examples of where the partnerships had worked. The next year, we had 28 colleges showed up. We have 30 in our association. 28 showed up to meet with their colleagues from Ivy Tech. The point being that higher education is changing. The 18 to 22-year-old demographic that has traditionally fueled campuses is gone. They call it a demographic cliff. But as Hoosiers, we still have significant education needs. And so from those conversations came this partnership. It would not have been thought of 10 years ago, because in higher education, there was this notion that, well, we're not training for careers, we're training people to think. Somebody else will do that. Well, guess what? There's nothing as academic as a dollar. And so what you're seeing today with Ivy Tech and Martin University is the future of higher education in the state of Indiana. And it's not just here either. So we're proud to celebrate this partnership as one more between Ivy Tech and the independent colleges of Indiana. And it began with an idea from Dr. Ellspermann at a breakfast 3 years ago. Thanks.
Martin University and Ivy Tech, because there's nothing as academic as a dollar. I love that. I want to, first of all, personally thank each and every speaker that we had today. As you heard, there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm about this partnership that is shared across our institutions, but obviously throughout our city and throughout our state. I want to give just a quick recap on the elements of the partnership so that we all are well aware. The first aspect is transferring or strengthening the transfer pipeline between Ivy Tech and Martin University. That means that we will be offering guaranteed admission for Ivy Tech students across the state to attend Martin University, and we will ensure that the credits that they earn at Ivy Tech transfer seamlessly into Martin University. Within the realm of strengthening that transfer pipeline, we're developing two focuses on academic programs. One is cyber entrepreneurship to create a more robust and diverse pool of tech professionals in our state. And secondly, our accelerated program for people who'd like to become teachers. We believe that there's an opportunity for us to help to educate people who want to educate others. We're also going to be focused on ensuring that we have enough people who are teaching dual enrollment in our high schools to be also coming through Ivy Tech and Martin University. Another aspect of our partnership will be the partnership between Ivy Tech and Martin University Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion. Ivy Tech's Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Belonging, Denisha Posey, is a member of the advisory board for the Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion, and we will co-develop workshops, lectures, seminars, and other meaningful work to help to bolster those efforts in and around our state and between our institutions. So those are really many of the aspects of the partnership. We are deeply, deeply excited about it and thankful that you were here to hear it first from all of us. I want to thank a number of people in the audience, certainly Dr. Ellspermann and her wonderful leadership team at Ivy Tech Community College, the leadership team at Martin University, the people in our academic affairs department led by Dr. Smith, and our enrollment management team led by Ezel Mars and others who have just done a tremendous job of coming together to make this happen. It couldn't happen without the support of both of our boards of trustees. I have members of our board of trustees here, along with our board chair, Mr. Joe Perkins, and others, and so I'm thankful. And last but not least, all of the allies and friends and supporters of Ivy Tech and Martin University who are here in the audience. You've just really helped us to come to this idea and to make this possible. So with that being said, all of our speakers will be available to the media for comments after this event. This concludes the formal part of the presentation. And again, thank you very, very much for your attendance today.